Hello everyone, welcome in this video lecture series on factor analysis. Today I am going to discuss various methods of determining the number of factors to be retained in factor analysis and how to do this analysis in SPSS will also be demonstrated. So this is in two parts. First I will discuss the theory behind the various methods, the principles of the various methods for determining the number of factors, followed by a tutorial on SPSS, how to do this analysis. In my earlier lecture on procedural steps of factor analysis, I discussed this topic, but I discussed only a few. The latent root method or the eigenvalues greater than equal to 1, the scree plot, the parallel analysis only. Today I will discuss some other methods. Recent advances has taken place and various other methods have been suggested. So I will discuss the most commonly used methods for determining the number of factors. First, I will begin with the scree plot, though I have already discussed, but since this topic is exclusively devoted on determining number of factors, so all the commonly used methods should be discussed. This is my view. So one of the widely used method for determining number of factors is scree test or scree plot. In this method, the eigenvalues are plotted against the number of factors. So highest eigenvalue is plotted, then the second highest. So this is in fact the ordered eigenvalues plot. We can say in one line that scree plot is an ordered eigenvalue plot in which the eigenvalues are represented on y-axis and the number of components or factors on the x-axis. And the number of factors to be retained is decided on the basis of the scree. This is the scree that I have already said that scree is a geological term. The sea or the ocean is very steeply deep in the beginning, but it becomes shallow. This is the scree and the factors above this scree. So there are two components or factors above this scree. Therefore, this scree plot suggests that two factors should be written. Another way is that there is an elbow in this plot and the factors above the elbow of the scree plot are written. But this method is very good, but a lot of subjectivity comes in interpreting this scree plot. Many researchers have done studies on this subjective errors and they have noted that kappa is as low as 0.61 among the raters. So different researchers may arrive at different number of factors because this is a visual plot in which uh, determining the scree or the elbow may involve subjectivity, and therefore some other methods have been developed to identify the scree or the elbow using mathematical calculations, statistical calculations. I will discuss those methods also. So this is a scree plot, and some researchers have developed the non-graphical scree plot that uses some computations, and based on those computations that reduces the difficulty of the subjectivity of the scree plot and helps us to arrive at a better conclusion. So apart from scree plot, there is another method, parallel analysis, that I also discussed in my earlier lecture, but I am again going to revise it. In this parallel analysis method, we perform a vector analysis. We extract the eigenvalues on the original data or the actual eigenvalues. And then we extract the eigenvalues on several random data sets, say 500, 1000 data sets of random data sets, and either the mean eigenvalues of all the random data sets for each component is computed, or some quantile, say 95th percentile eigenvalue is calculated. And since we are running two analysis in parallel, one on the actual data and the other on the random data set, so this will help you to remind yourself that what is parallel analysis. We are basically doing two parallel analysis. Now, how to decide the number of factors? So the eigenvalues tells the variance explained by a component. So the first component is having eigenvalue in actual data 6.368, and it is higher than that eigenvalue which is obtained from the random data set. So this is the chance variance explained by the first component, and the first component in the actual data is explaining well over the chance variance. Second is 1.619, and the chance value is again 1.292. So again, the second factor is explaining more variance that can be explained by chance. But come at the third, 1.208 is the eigenvalue of actual data and 1.248. So the random data or the chance variance is more than the actual variance. It means the third factor is not meaningful. So the criteria is that we retain that number of factors which actual eigenvalues are greater than equal to the eigenvalue of the random data set. And we can do this comparison either by the mean eigenvalues or some quantile eigenvalues. So different researchers use different method, and the same is plotted here. So this dotted line is the mean, this one is for the 95th percentile, and this black one is actually the scree plot of the actual data. So none of the eigenvalues less than 2 is higher than these two values, are basically the first and second eigenvalues are lower than the actual eigenvalues. But when we come at the third, this third eigenvalue of the random data set, either it is based on mean or based on percentile, is higher than the actual. Therefore, this third component is not meaningful. So we will not retain the third factor. So this is parallel analysis. This parallel analysis in this example is also suggesting to retain two factors. Now, as I said that scree plot is limited with the errors that can be introduced because of subjectivity in interpretation. Therefore, some researchers, Reveille and Rocklin, in 1979, they proposed two methods. One is called optimal coordinate method and another is acceleration factor. In optimal coordinate method, the location of scree is determined. Where is the scree, and the factors above the scree are retained. And this location of scree is determined by extrapolating or projecting the eigenvalues based on the eigenvalue preceding a given eigenvalue and the last eigenvalue. So the lines, the regression lines between the preceding eigenvalue and the last eigenvalue are drawn, and n minus 2 lines can be drawn. So n minus 2 predicted eigenvalues can be obtained, and here n is the number of variables in the factor analysis. Based on this calculation, factors having the observed eigenvalue equal to or greater than the predicted are retained. So if there are, say, three factors whose actual eigenvalues are greater than, or the third factor is eigenvalue is greater than or equal to the predicted value based on this extrapolation method, then three factors will be retained. Another method given by the same researchers, Reveley and Rocklin, is called acceleration factor. This is basically a numerical solution, algebraic solution to know the elbow of the plot. And the elbow corresponds to the solution with the highest acceleration factor, the highest value. So acceleration factor involves a complex mathematical computation. The software will do for us, so I am not going deep into the mathematical part to make the presentation easy. So just we have to remember that this method will produce acceleration factor, and the highest acceleration factor, which is corresponding to a given number of factor, will be retained. Say the third factor is having highest acceleration factor, then 3 minus 1 factor will be retained. So factor to retain is the number of factors related to the highest acceleration factor minus 1. I But remember that both of these methods must meet or fulfill the parallel analysis criteria. So if parallel analysis suggests the same number at least, then this will be retained using the optimal coordinate or acceleration factor. To make it clear, I will show you one graphical example. In this graphical example, you can see that the green line are the green line is on based on parallel analysis. The black one is the actual eigenvalues, that is the scree plot. The red one is the optimal coordinate. And look, all the three methods, they are suggesting number of factors to be retained as 2. The acceleration factor AF, you can see here, acceleration factor AF at the elbow, it is written, and this is corresponding to the third factor. Therefore 3 minus 1, the two factors will be retained. Is it, I think, clear? If there is any lack of clarity, please do ask. I am again repeating that acceleration factor is calculated. Suppose the first acceleration factor is 1, the second acceleration factor is 1.5, third acceleration factor is, say, 2, and this is the highest acceleration factor. Then the third factor is associated with highest acceleration factor. So 3 minus 1, that is the two factors will be retained. But in optimal coordinate, the number of factor indicated by the optimal coordinate is retained. So the observed eigenvalue equal to or greater than the predicted values are retained. So we do not subtract anything. Another method is map. minimum average partial test, and this was given by Walliser. So it is also called Walliser's map or Walliser's minimum average partial test. This was developed in 1976 to determine the number of factors, and in this method the number of factors are retained as long as the variance in the correlation matrix represents systematic variance. That is, the variance can be explained. It is not attributable to error variance. How this test determines this, how this is run? So it involves several steps. Say k steps, where k will range from step 0 to step n minus 1. So if we are having 10 variables, so there will be 10 steps starting from 0 to 9. At step 0, the mean of the squared correlations of the off diagonal elements. In the correlation matrix, we will leave the diagonal values and all the off diagonal values will be squared and their mean will be calculated. This will be the first value. Then we will extract one component or one factor and then we will partial out. So in step 1, the first component will be partialed out and the partial correlation matrix will be produced. And the average of the squared partial correlation will be computed. And this procedure will keep on going. So we will calculate n minus 1 steps and the number of factor is determined by the say the number of factor corresponds to the minimum average partial correlation. So in this example you can see that the zero order, that is the original correlation matrix, average is 0.061, and then when first component is partial out it reduces to 0.038. When second was partial out, it further reduced to 0.017 and then now it is increasing 0.019. It is higher. So this example is suggesting that the second step means two factors. So two factors will be retained. Later on, the Walliser in probably in 2000, he proposed another method, the average of the fourth power of this partial correlation. So I have shown in this example the fourth partial correlation also. And if you see this, the minimum, this is suggesting 0.003, then it is reducing 0.001. Since these values are same, 0.001, 0.001, so this is the minimum value and this is associated with number of factor 4. So according to this the three factors will be retained. Another method proposed by Reveley and Rocklin in 1979 is called VSS, very simple structure criterion. And recall from my previous lecture the concept given by the Thurston, the simple structure. And I gave one example that simple structure means one variable is having very high loading or few variables are having very high loading on one factor and those variables are having near zero loading on all other factors. Some other set of variables are having high loading on the other factor and the other variables on other factors are having near zero loading. So this is related to this simple structure. In this method, the item complexity is required to do the analysis and the complexity is indicated by C, and complexity of item means that it is loading on how many, cross loading on how many items. So this, if one item is loading only on one factor and not another factor, then complexity is 1. So we define the complexity in this analysis, and generally the complexity up to 2 is allowed, and this has been tested. For each item, the factor loadings are fixed to 0 except the highest C. So suppose if C is equal to 2, then two loadings, highest loadings will be kept as it is, and all other loadings for a given item will be set or fixed to 0. So when we are doing this for the whole factor structure matrix, we will arrive at a simplified factor structure. Few variables will be having, few variables that are having highest loading, that will be retained, and all other loadings will be made 0. This will result in a simplified structure. Then we try to reproduce the correlation matrix on the basis of simplified structure and compare it to the original correlation matrix. And the VSS, the very simple structure criterion value is calculated, and the highest VSS value is generally considered to be associated with the most interpretable number of factors. So according to this method, we will retain those number of factors which are associated with the highest VSS. I am just giving one example. So these are the calculation based on complexity level 1, and these are based on complexity 2. Let us observe the highest value for complexity 1 is 0.805. So according to this, the highest VSS value is 0.805 and it is associated with factor number 2. So we will retain two factors. When complexity is 2, again 0.901, this is the highest value. So even for complexity 2, the VSS criteria is suggesting to retain two factors. So VSS is one good method, but this has a limitation that this criteria cannot be used for a factorially complex solution. So very high complexity is not allowed in this method. This is one of the best method, I would say. It is called comparison data, and this was proposed by Rossio and Rossi in 2012. In this method, that is the comparative data procedure, several data sets with known factor structure are analyzed. Recall the parallel analysis. In parallel analysis, the data sets generated from random number are analyzed. They are not having any known factor structure. So in contrast to parallel analysis, the CD procedure analyzes several data sets but with known factor structures. Some data set may have two factor solution, some data set may have three factor solution, four factor solution, like this. And then this is compared with the original one. By this comparison, it is determined that which data set best reproduces the original profile of the eigenvalues. So we will test one factor structure data set, two factor, three factor, four factor, and the one which best reproduces the original profile of the eigenvalues will be retained. So in a sense, this is an improvement over the parallel analysis. Why? Because parallel analysis analyzes a random data set and thus it accounts for only sampling errors and not for the factor structure. But in this CD procedure, we are simultaneously accounting for both. And in various simulation study, in fact, Rossi and Rossi, they themselves done this simulation study and found that this was very accurate in determining the correct or true number of factors. The accuracy was around 87%, and this method was found better than many other factors that I have discussed. And this is the general output. So these are the root mean squares dual eigenvalues. And look, this second factor is having this value, which is having a p-value 0.000, which is significant. This is having p-value of 1, either p-value is not applicable. And therefore, this comparison data procedure, CD procedure, is suggesting that we have to retain two factors. Now, the question is how to perform these analysis in SPSS. If you have used SPSS, you will find that SPSS factor analysis menu does not provide option for doing all these analysis except scree plot. You can do scree plot, but there is no direct option to do these analysis. However, some of the analysis can be done by using macros or R-based custom dialogues. For parallel analysis and Welliser's map, O'Connor developed SPSS macro, and this macro can be found on this web link. They have developed it for SAS as well as SPSS, and these two macros, after certain modifications, can be, and those modifications are written in the macro itself, it can do the parallel analysis and Welliser's minimum average partial for us in SPSS. But in 2012, Basto and Pereira, they developed SPSS dialog written in R. So now SPSS supports R also, and R package can be installed in SPSS. So based on that R SPSS component, they developed a dialog, custom dialog that can be installed in SPSS. It is called R menu, and it will appear as R factor version 2, version 1, like this in your SPSS analyzed menu. And this basic frame was later further enhanced by Courtney in 2013, who added the acceleration factor, the optimal coordinate, and CD procedures also. In initial, only the parallel analysis, Welliser's map, these procedures were there. So we can perform all these analysis, and today I am going to show you how to perform these with SPSS. But if you are not having SPSS licensed SPSS, you are having a trial version, you can do it for some days. Alternative softwares are also available which can perform all these analysis plus some additional. There is one software called Factor, and it can be downloaded from this link, and all the documentations and procedures are given there. In next lecture, I would like to cover this also if time permits. So this alternative software Factor can do all these analysis, and this is specifically devoted for factor analysis, and therefore there are many options, all very good options are there for performing factor analysis. You can do a lot of rotations, a lot variety of other manipulations, even for determining number of factors, other methods like Hull method, C-Hull method. These methods are also there in this software, and this also performs this parallel analysis as well as Welliser's map. So I will now, and these are the two articles that I am referring to. This article first introduced this R menu and SPSS R menu, and then this factor introduced the R menu version 2.0. Now it is having some more advancements also. So let us and see the SPSS solution. This is a real data set that is obtained on a 20 item scale called positive negative affect schedule, and the data has been obtained on 209 participants, you can see. And these 20 variables, basically 20 items, use 20 adjectives. 10 are positive like interested positive, distressed negative, excited positive, upset negative, and they measure two components, the positive effect and the negative effect. But let us assume that we are having this data and we don't know what is the factor structure, though this is known that this is having two factors, the positive effect and negative effect. Now we have to determine the number of factors. So I have already installed the R menu. You will go to the dimension reduction and then R factor version 2.4.2, that is with me. I have already transferred this, but for is this will for you this will be this side. I am rather resetting it, and then you select all either by control A or you can shift arrow key use, and then transfer all these variables to be analyzed. These are the 20 items, PNA 20. Now this dialog box can perform principal component analysis and factor analysis, and one very good thing is that it can also calculate polychoric correlations. And most of the scales researchers analyze using Pearson correlation, but there is a debate that the Likert scale are basically ordinal scale data, and therefore polychoric correlation should be used. So if you are interested in polychoric correlation, then this software gives this option also. This software, rather you can say this R dialog box. Here we will go for only two procedures. The n factor solution. Here I am selecting Pearson, but if you are using polychoric, you can use polychoric. This is Welliser's map. I would like to do, then I have selected analysis. This is VSS, very simple structure, I have selected. If you want that a diagonal in the graph should also appear, then you can select this, but I do not prefer this. And then you have to give the number of factors, the expected number of factors that you expect. Here the number should be higher than that. So I am expecting two factors, though 5 is higher than 2. Then you will have to select principal component. Many researchers say that if you are going to do principal axis, you select principal axis. I will show you that both will give almost similar results. So let us go with principal component. Now come to the parallel analysis and non-graphical scree test, means the acceleration factor and optimal coordinate. If you are using version 23 or higher, then some seed for generating random data set should be given. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. And you can give any seed number. There are different methods of giving seed. So the seed should be such that you can remember. If you will use the same seed, you will be able to reproduce the same outputs again and again. Here there are options. Simulation should be based on mean or quantile. Quantile is better. So let us leave all these default and continue. Now this is the menu for CD, the comparison comparative data procedure. You select analysis, again you give C, and to shorten the analysis you select this perform analysis only till non-significant improvement. So it will not compute all possible analysis. The largest number of factors, so here I have given 7, you can, this is having 2, you can change it to 5, but it should be higher than the expected number of factors. So after checking all these box, just continue and then click OK. Still the program is running. Now all the outputs are there. Let us see each and every output and learn how to interpret. This is the distribution of eigenvalues computed. This is the mean and this is the quantile. The number of components and factors, this is one important. So if you are following optimal coordinate, it is suggesting 2 factor. Acceleration factor is also suggesting 2 factors. So this menu produces the number of factors, so you have not to determine, it will determine and give you, but we should know how to determine. So I will show in the other output how this 2 2 2 and 5 has come. And this is the Kaiser rule, means the latent root method or eigenvalues greater than 1. So there are 5 factors whose eigenvalues are either 1 or higher. The sixth one is less than 1. So Kaiser rule is suggesting to retain 5 factors. Now come to parallel analysis. What parallel analysis says? That if eigenvalue of this parallel analysis is higher than the actual, then you will not retain. So 1.406 is lower than the parallel analysis or the chance or the random 1.46. So this third factor is not meaningful factor because it is explaining less variance that can be explained by chance only. So the eigenvalue is 1.46 and here the value is 1.406. Therefore we will retain 2. And here this R menu has already done it for you. Now come to the predicted eigenvalues for optimal coordinate. In the presentation I have said that the predicted value is if equal to or higher than the the eigenvalue, the actual eigenvalue is equal to or higher than the predicted, then we will retain. So 1.475 is lower than 3, or in other words the actual eigenvalue is higher than 1.475. 1.266, so this is again higher, so actual value is higher than the predicted value. So if you will go with this criteria, then you will say that we should retain 3 factor. But we are not retaining 3 factor because I said that in addition to this optimal coordinate criteria, the parallel analysis criteria should also be met. Parallel analysis is suggesting only 2 factor. Therefore, despite the fact that the actual eigenvalue of the third factor is higher than the predicted one, we will retain only 2 factors. So this is indicated here. The optimal coordinate is the suggesting 2 factors. Now come to the acceleration factor. What was the criteria? The number of factor to be retained will be the highest, the factor associated with highest acceleration factor. So 1.492 is the highest acceleration factor, and it is associated with third factor. And then the actual value will be 3 minus 1. So here you can see that this has already been done, but theoretically we should know how these analysis works. So the optimal coordinate is 2, acceleration factor is 2, parallel analysis is also 2. Now come to the Walliser's map, the Walliser's map criteria. This zero step is the value of the original correlation matrix, squared average, squared correlation average. Now the first component has been partial out, then this partial correlation has reduced to 0.038, then it further reduced after removing second component to 0.017, and then now it is started increasing. This means this is the minimum average partial correlation. So we will retain the factor which is associated with minimum average partial. But here you will say that the software has, or this R menu has already computed it for us. So squared map value is suggesting two components to retain, and fourth power method is suggesting three components to retain. Now come to the very simple structure. I explained that very simple structure criteria is that the highest value VSS value associated with the given factor will be retained. Here 0.713 is the highest value if the complexity is 1, and 0.771 is the highest value if complexity is 2. So both the methods are suggesting, say n factor complexity 1, the number of factor is 2, and n factors complexity 2, the number of factors to be retained is 2. So what we are saying that almost all except the fourth power, almost all the analysis done so far are suggesting that we have to retain two factors. Now the last method, fit to comparison data, and this is the result. This is the eigenvalue, and the second factor is associated with the significant eigenvalue. Therefore, the number of factors to be retained is 2. But I am just explaining, if this output is not there and only this table is there, how we can do this interpretation. But fortunately, this add-on or this R custom dialog box does it for us. So this comparison data is also suggesting 2. Literature suggests that if various methods are converging, then the number of factors determined by these methods are likely to correspond to the actual number of factors. For example, in a simulation study, it was found that if comparison data and parallel analysis data, if they correspond, so here parallel analysis is suggesting 2 and comparison data is suggesting also 2, then it is found in that simulation study that around 90 or 92% of times the procedure identified the correct number of factors. So there is no one method or one solution to determine the number of factors. There are several methods. Best is to do various analysis and see where what results are converging. We should go for that. But if there are differences, then we can go for doing two factor and three factor solutions, and then interpret the result and see which one is theoretically more congruent. So there are these subjectivities involved in factor analysis, exploratory factor analysis, but These methods help us in determining the number of factors. In next lecture, I will cover the whole factor analysis procedure, how to do factor analysis using SPSS. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon with other lecture on how to do factor analysis using SPS.